Ask the people that you're making the decisions with on a scale of 1 to 10, how aligned is this? And reflect after of what would I have done differently? Like, knowing what I know now, is that still as aligned as I thought? Is it more aligned?
First of all, alignment is everything. Secondly, alignment is basically core aspirations, core values, and core beliefs.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode with Laura Sancho. She was the most consistent member in our second group of group coaching. Today, for episode number 672, we're getting up there. A simple way to make good decisions. So, Taryn and I were on the couch the other night. That's how all good stories start.
For sure.
And she said, hey, one of my friends is getting married in, I don't know if it's Spain. It's some place not close to us that requires a flight, a hotel stay, and a good amount of money, most likely. And we had talked about it previously, and I was like, honestly, I don't think that we should go. Like, we just moved to a new place. We're trying to save up for a house. We're trying to save up for a lot of other things. Like, I don't know that it's the right time. And she brought it back up, and I said, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how aligned is it for you to go? And she said, can I think about it? And I said, absolutely. When she comes back with that number, if that number's at 8 or higher, I will go. If it's like a 4, I won't.
Well, did she ask you the same question?
No.
But it depends on her answer.
It depends on her answer,
Right.
because it's like, okay, another great example. This, for some reason, happens to me. You and I always get opportunities to travel when Taryn and I are supposed to go on vacation. It just, I don't know if the universe is testing me, but it always happens. So Nick Cavuto invited us to Colorado.
Yeah.
Taryn and I were supposed to go to Vermont to stay at her family's house in Vermont. And me going to Colorado might not be as aligned for her as me going to Vermont, but she knows how aligned it is for me. She
Yeah.
said, like, you can't not go, babe. Like, you have to go. It's so important. I said, well, I appreciate that so very much. But she knows that's a 10 out of 10 for me, where Vermont might have been a 9.5.
Right.
I mean, it still was really high, but, like, the opportunity to meet new people, to get closer to a mentor, to make more money, to learn more. Like, you never know what'll come from this event. So that's the point of this episode. A simple way to make good decisions. Ask the people that you're making the decisions with on a scale of 1 to 10, how aligned is this?
100%.
And reflect after of what would I have done differently? Like, knowing what I know now, is that still as aligned as I thought? Is it more aligned? I think it's a good opportunity for learning.
And if you're in a relationship, whether it's a friendship or an intimate partner, this is the best way to, like, say no to something.
Yeah.
Is like, honestly, that's not aligned for me. And so let's say it was a 5 out of 10 for you, but a 10 out of 10 for Taryn. That's a 7.5. So you can kind of take the average.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. Yeah.
I think it's important because I don't want to use the word sacrifice, because I think it's hard to say that in a relationship. Like, one person is often sacrificing, but it's not always going to be a 10 out of 10 for both people.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So I think
Not
it's
practical.
and I think it's important to have the conversation of, like, I think it just makes it more logical.
For
It's
sure.
not that I don't want to do it. It's just not as aligned for me. Like, going to, so we talked about the wedding that Tara and I went to on last week's episode. It was more aligned for her than it was for me, but not because I didn't like anybody. It's because for me, being around people drains me, because I'm so used to doing it, where I like my R&R on the weekends, where something more, a 10 out of 10 alignment for Taryn on the weekends might be going out somewhere, because she doesn't get that during the week.
Right.
So I think it's the give and take, and I think it depersonalizes it. If I was to invite you out to a bar, and I wouldn't, because I know that's not your jam, but if you said, hey, that's just not in alignment for me, that's a lot different than
I
just
don't wanna
saying
hang out
no.
with you. Yeah.
Because then, okay, no. Okay, Alan doesn't want to hang out. That's out of alignment for me. What's more in alignment for you? I think it changes the entire theme of the conversation.
It does. And I think it's predicated on this understanding, too, of you only have so much time.
Yeah.
And everyone, when you're born, a fuse is lit. And every minute on the minute, that fuse is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We don't know how much time we have. So, and I remember you talked to me about this on the way home from the wedding. You said, hey, Taryn, in hindsight, how aligned was that wedding for you? And she said, honestly, in hindsight, a 5. And you basically said, like, can we talk about that up front?
Yeah.
but she might have thought it was a 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't notice until after. Yeah. And I remember the 4th of July weekend, Emilia's family got together, and I was only there from Saturday at 4 p.m. Or no, Saturday at 6 p.m. till Sunday at 5 p.m. And when I left, they call it a boomerang. It's like you go quickly and then you leave quickly, which for me is aligned. When I said I was going to do that, Emilia was like, well, do you really want to drive all that time for like such a short amount of time by the lake? I said, honestly, that's so aligned for me. I love the books. And by the way, it's only an hour and a half both ways, so it's like 3 hours of books. Yeah, absolutely, it's aligned. It would be less aligned if I couldn't boomerang. I don't, because I had a lot to do that weekend and to accomplish. So if you're out there right now, that's the premise of this episode is, first of all, alignment is everything. Secondly, alignment is basically core aspirations, core values, and core beliefs. I think we should explain that a little bit. Because if you, let's say you have a goal to get in shape, going to the gym is immediately more aligned. Skipping workouts is immediately less aligned. But if you didn't have a goal to be in shape, you wouldn't know what is and isn't in alignment.
Hello everyone, my name is Amy Lenius and I am co-host of the Evolution of Mom podcast. I can't say enough about Kevin, Alan, and their entire team over at Next Level University. When Charisse and I decided to expand our influence to empower and help as many women as possible, we knew that these were the guys to call to make that dream a reality. Not only did they help us with every aspect of our podcast, they have both become mentors in every aspect of my life. If you are looking to level up your life in any way, shape, or form, you are absolutely in the right space. I look forward to seeing this beautiful community of growth-minded people that you guys have created expand, and I can't wait to see all the incredible value I know you're going to bring us in the future. Thank you guys so much.
So I think we should give a couple examples of core values and core aspirations making alignment easier, because if you don't really know what your core aspirations are, it's going to be hard for you to understand what your 10 out of 10 actually is.
Yeah, so core values are like, well, it depends. Like, you can have humility, you can have generosity, you can have personal development, self-improvement, work ethic, sense of humor, whatever. Those are all values. Aspirations are, it's hard because, like, in the frame that we're talking about, you're not really thinking, well, okay, an aspiration could be to maximize your potential. Like, one of the things I want to do is maximize my potential. Me going and doing this thing is not helping me do that.
Right.
You and I going to Colorado, one of the things I said was, so it was originally going to be me, you, and Emilia couldn't make it. We were going to stay in separate places. We were going to take separate flights. I just said, like, hey, it's not in alignment for me to stay a couple extra days. Like, that's just not what I want to do. Like, I'm not going there, and I'm going to be alone. Like, Taryn's not coming, so I'm not really there to stay any longer, where you and Emilia might have some fun, unique experiences. So I think the intention was just different there.
Right.
And now it's you and I, so we're boomeranging. We're literally taking a flight out at 8 p.m. to Colorado, and we're flying back at midnight.
Yeah.
Of the night that the event ends, we're taking a red eye back because we're in alignment with our goals.
Yeah,
beliefs
100%.
And aspirations.
Why do you think people don't stay in alignment?
I think they don't admit I don't think they admit what they want. I think it's a hard conversation to say, like, hey, I don't want to do what you want to do. I think that's a hard conversation if you haven't had it with somebody before. I think you and I are blessed because our partners, but also you and I have had so many of those conversations.
For sure.
So, like, that's every Monday. It's every day, really, of like, hey, I think this is best. Like, that's more aligned for me. You know, like, we had a financial conversation earlier that was, like, heavy, but it was like, I think this is more aligned for me. And you were like, oh, that makes sense. I can see that. Right. That's really all it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think it's make sure you have people in your life that are open to those conversations.
Ask the question to yourself, too. How aligned is this from 0 to 10? And then reflect on your experiences. Like, after an experience, I'm always doing this of, like, how aligned was that?
Yeah.
Do I want to do more or less of that? That's why I'm so religious about my calendar or so consistent with it, is because I look back on the week and I'm like, you know what, honestly, that wasn't aligned in hindsight.
Yeah.
So,
and we've had guests on here that after the interview, Ellen and I will say, like, how aligned was that?
Yeah.
We've had several people that we just didn't release. Because it wasn't aligned. So I think it's a good way to make decisions, but I also think it's a good way to understand why you feel the way you feel. If you're consistently being pulled off of what you feel is your path and you don't feel like you're making progress, that's another thing of, like, you're not aligned with the person that you want to be.
Right.
And it's a very interesting thing. And I'm glad, I think you brought that frame to me of asking, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how aligned is that? So technically you should get credit for this, even though it was my idea to do the episode, but whatever.
I appreciate that. Very last thing I'll say, and then we got to go here. Fulfillment, I think, is the litmus test of whether or not you're aligned. This is just my belief, so take it or leave it. But, like, after an experience, do you feel fulfilled? So there's a lot of experiences in my past that were a lot of fun, but I never felt fulfilled. That means that's my way of knowing, okay, that actually wasn't as aligned. Even though I had fun, it wasn't really aligned. For me, fulfillment comes from growth and contribution. I think that's universal, not just me. I think growth and contribution towards your highest self brings fulfillment, even if it's hard and challenging, versus fun, unique experiences that don't help you grow and contribute beyond yourself. They might be fun and pleasurable, but not as fulfilling. So ask yourself, how fulfilled was I after that? And then how aligned was that in hindsight, and dial in and design your life from that frame.
And would I do it again?
Right.
Would I do it again if presented the opportunity? What would have to shift? There's a lot of questions you can ask.
And how could I make it more aligned?
Right.
That's another one. It goes deeper, yeah.
Yeah. And I think for you and I, we're realizing that we have a lot of early entrepreneurs that listen to the show. How can you make it more aligned? You can stack the things that you're doing. So, like, real quick example. Doing dishes for me is not something I aspire to do in my future. It's just not, like, aligned with the person I want to be. But if I'm listening to an audiobook while I do it, it's more aligned.
Same.
I think that's another thing, is, like, you can stack habits and people, places, and ideas to make something more aligned.
For sure.
You dig it?
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we had 15 new members in Next Level Nation last week or something like that. If you're looking for a community where you actually feel like you finally belong, you can be yourself, your true, authentic self, and you'll have full alignment, join Next Level Nation. The link is in the show notes. A safe place where you can be you can learn knowledge, you can get out of your comfort zone and fear chase, a place where you belong, and we will help you grow.
Also, we have a new book that we're reading in book club together as a team, The Art of Impossible, a Peak Performance Primer by Stephen Kotler. We interviewed Stephen Kotler. Check out that episode. You can literally just type in, wherever you search for this podcast, type in Stephen Kotler Next Level, and it'll come right up. You can check out that interview. But basically, every single Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we get together with the community and we talk about a particular chapter. Right now, we're reading the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. The next book will be The Art of Impossible. We've already taken a poll in Next Level Nation. That's going to be the book. Also, if you go to nextleveluniverse.com and click on Book Club tab, basically, if you buy your book from Amazon through our link, we get a small commission on that. You won't pay another dime. It's going to be the exact same price as if you bought it solo on Amazon, but the proceeds will go to the Next Level Hope Foundation, which, again, quickly, is every Father's Day. Kevin and I will be renting out rec centers and bringing boys without fathers between ages 7 and 13 to the rec center to have a fun team-building day, and all the proceeds will go there.
And if you're ever looking to volunteer for something amazing like that, we would absolutely love to have you and meet you in person. It's one of our favorite parts of live events.
Please reach out.
You dig?
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, we love you. We appreciate you. Tomorrow, you are going to hear last week's Meetup Monday, what you need to know as an early entrepreneur. As always, we do not have fans. We have family.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.